This week on Hooligan Nation, what happens when the gods of thunder and the sporting world collide? Kiss at the Super Bowl? Kiss at the Olympics? Kiss at a high school in Cadillac, Michigan. Plus, news, music we're listening to, and the Hooligan Nation weekly poll, all coming up. Stay tuned, because you got
nothing to lose.
You wanted the best. Well, they retired. So you got two dudes in a garage.
Talking Kiss.
Welcome to the Hooligan Nation, a KISS-Centric podcast. A podcast where the riffs are loud, but our opinions are louder. I'm Anthony.
And I'm Rocco.
Yes, you are. What's up, hooligans?
What's up, hooligans?
What's up, Father Rocco?
Oh, how you doing?
Thank you.
How you be today?
Oh, I'm better now. You blessed me. I feel like I can do this show and I don't have to worry about anything in the world screwing this show up.
All right.
Now, we have a big day today. You,
me,
and I get to combine probably our two favorite things. Kiss and the world of sports.
Absolutely.
And you, the hooligans, you get to watch and listen to us combine Kiss with the world of sports. Now, for those of you that you're scratching your head wondering what the hell we're talking about, you'll just have to stick with us. But before that, we have news, music we're listening to, and of course, our weekly poll. But first, last episode recap. Love Gun versus Rock and Roll Over, the album deathmatch. Father Rocco, would you like to add anything?
I mean, I love both albums. I battled you with Rock and Roll Over, and I ended up losing. The album ended up losing. And the more and more we do this, the more and more I realize that Love Gun was probably the pinnacle album of them. But when it comes to studio albums, I mean, it definitely seems to be shaking off all its competition so far.
There's still some stuff left that could challenge Love Gun, but there isn't a lot.
Well, you know why it's difficult? Because Kiss's fan base was at the, would you say I'm wrong if the Kiss's fan base, as far as sales and everything, was at their peak there? Even when they took its makeup off, I don't think they came close to that.
To Love Gun?
To Love Gun.
No.
That's what I'm saying.
But I'm the wrong person to ask because my favorite album is Love Gun.
Right.
It's also part of my favorite era.
It's a hard album to compete with because it was their peak of fans. It was the pinnacle studio album for the band. I mean, it's hard to dispute it, at least at this point. When people talk about Kiss's peak, most of the time, Love Gun's not mentioned. It's always Destroyer, 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 but I would say Love Gun's probably a more complete album than Destroyer.
Yes, that's what I wanted to hear. News. You got any news?
Yeah, I got a decent amount of news here. I was on Loudwire.
Oh,
shocker.
Yeah.
My Loudwire is like your Eddie Trunk.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So today, Chad Childers of Loudwire posted news about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, names 2025 induction guest, but who should honor who? So that article is going to cover recommendations and different things. It's an interesting article. There's 18 named celebrities revealed as part of the ceremony. I'll give you a few of them. David Letterman, Beck, Brandy Carlisle, Doja Cat. I don't know who that is. Elton John, Flea, Iggy Pop, and there's others. The induction class is Soundgarden, Outkast, Cyndi Lauper, White Stripes, Bad Company, Chubby Checker, and Joe Cocker, which we've covered. We've covered a little bit of this before. But the article is interesting. Loudwire usually has some really good news in there, so I recommend reading the article. And then the second thing I have, also from Chad Childers of Loudwire, it's a follow-up. Kid Rock wants Pearl Jam and others to step up in his FTC lawsuit against ticketing companies and their ticket prices and how they're overpricing the fans.
Wow, that's good to hear that artists are now getting involved in that. It really
Absolutely.
is. And then you know what? Look, I say this all the time. Who the hell am I? But if I was Kid Rock and I was the artist, what I would tell the fans is don't buy the tickets,
Mm.
because that's the quickest way that you can get this ticket pricing under control.
You know, and I
Tickets.
think you'll agree, in our area, the tri-state area, it's probably the most expensive in our area. Like I know people personally that have gone to other states because to see their artists that they want to see, just because it's so much cheaper. So I know it's different around the country, but
Sure. I mean, look, I said this yesterday. I don't know if you were standing there at the time, but I said this yesterday about the Yankees. Why would anybody pay the prices that they're charging at a Yankees game when you can take a, 3-hour ride to Baltimore
mhm.
to see the Yankees play the Orioles? And I'm guessing it costs you 20% of what it would cost
Right.
you at Yankee
Yeah, and it's
Stadium.
a nice venue too, and they got a nice concession area and outside. Yeah, absolutely.
Right, but you're going to pay less for beer, less for food, less for parking, less for tickets, less for everything by taking a 3-hour ride.
Let's compare it back to music, right? Taylor Swift, right? I mean, say you have kids. Yeah, say you have two kids and your wife likes Taylor Swift, the kids like Taylor Swift, and you want the whole family to get the experience of going to see Taylor Swift. How much money are you spending as a family?
Honestly, are you really asking me that question?
I'm just saying,
You're going to
actually,
fall down when I give you the answer
answer it this
because,
way. Do you have to be rich in order to do it?
well, I don't know if you have to be rich, but you either have to be rich uh, or you have to be a, a different kind of committed to your family,
Right.
or you got to be an idiot because of this is a true story, by the way. I did not make this up. Taylor Swift just finished the Eras tour. I don't know what the Eras tour is. She I don't know what it is, and I'm sure that all the hooligans really don't care. Hooligans, if you care, put it in the comments below, and I guess I'll explain it if I
And
get.
listen, the only reason I brought up Taylor Swift is because I'm talking about like bringing a family. Like most people aren't bringing a family to
No,
see Iron Maiden or something like that. You know what I mean?
well, I have three daughters, and my three daughters, my youngest one is almost 18, so she was, I think she was 16 at the time. She was either 15 or 16 when Taylor Swift came to Giant Stadium, and she wanted to go. And then, the middle daughter, who's 23 now, walked in and said, I want to go too. And then my oldest daughter, everybody wanted to go. It would have been over $10,000 for 5 tickets. Over 10,000. It was between $2,000 and $3,000. That's to get into the stadium. Like, I'm not talking about taking your family to a first row experience. I'm talking about nosebleeds. And I mean, I didn't have to tell anybody. And that's a good thing for me. Like, they looked at the prices and were like, this is crazy. Do you know what they did? They did the coolest thing. I did not go, but they did the coolest thing. They went to Giant Stadium and they parked in the parking garage for the mall, and they listened to the concert from the parking garage. Them and about 5,000 other people
Yeah.
who thought of the same thing, and they kind of tailgated, and I think they had a good time. I mean, I wouldn't have done that for Taylor Swift, but hey, when there's a difference between $10,000 and I think it cost them $5 to park in the parking lot, and it probably cost them maybe another 50, $100 for food and sodas and drinks and stuff like that. and they tailgated in the parking lot, and they couldn't see anything other than the outside of the stadium, but they told me they could hear it pretty well, and that was good enough for them. You got anything else?
Sure.
Okay, cool. I'm up. I need a drum roll. Good, thank you. If you don't know this and you haven't heard this, you should be sitting down right now because you will fall down. Rush will return to the stage in 2026 with a new drummer. Her name is Anika Niles. Tour dates. You know what? Let me bring this up so I can give you Rush fans the tour dates. There are limited shows. Oh, that's funny. I just said there's limited shows, and the headline on Loudwire is Rush adds 11 more dates. Yeah, there's a lot of dates here. So if you want to know the tour dates, you can jump on the Loudwire or go directly to rush.com. And I am completely shocked. If there was one band that I thought was never going to come back, it was Rush. For all you KISS fans out there that are hoping and praying for an original KISS reunion, it may be on life support, but if Rush is coming back without Neil Peart or Neil Peart, then I think anything is possible. Next up, there is a new Ozzy Osbourne autobiography that just came out. I believe it came out yesterday, October 7th. I haven't started to read it yet. And there's a lot of stuff in it. I've heard some different stuff, but the one that caught my attention was in the book, Sharon Osbourne talks about the backup plan that she had for Ozzy in regards to the Back to the Beginning concert if Ozzy couldn't sing. I guess Ozzy came to her and said, hey, what's the backup plan? Like, this is really big. You know, you have Metallica coming, you have Guns N' Roses coming, you have Steven Tyler coming, you have Sammy Hagar coming. Like, what if I can't sing? And Sharon's statement to Ozzy that the backup plan is there isn't one. That's what she told Ozzy. She told him, if you can't sing, talk to your fans. Pretty much giving Ozzy no wiggle room. You ain't got no choice. You got to do it. And look, I've always thought Sharon was a genius, and it worked out. It couldn't work out any more perfectly than it did.
Can I feed off of your news that you just put also?
Sure.
It's no secret that I've become a pretty big fan of Youngblood. Youngblood just had a interview with Bill Maher on Club Random. Very good. The reason I'm bringing it up is because Youngblood had like 20 minutes with Ozzy, and he had thought that he was going to have plenty of time with Ozzy. It took him by surprise. But he went into detail about how nervous Ozzy was and how he like literally was like, kind of like boost. What do they call that? Boosting him up, or like just kind of confiding, comforting him and stuff like that. It's a good interview. I recommend it. But it was interesting to hear that Ozzy was nervous. I mean, how many shows has Ozzy performed?
Yeah, but he hadn't performed in a long time, and he hadn't performed since all the other stuff happened.
It was just interesting to hear how he confided to the young blood, to the young buck that he's nervous.
And here I was trying to get through an episode of the Hooligan Nation podcast without young blood coming up. So much for that. And finally, I got one last thing. It's a late entry. I have not watched it or listened to it yet, but John 5 is the newest guest on the Magnificent Others with Billy Corgan podcast, which just posted today, October 8th. And if
Checking it out.
you're a Motley Crue fan, if you're a Kiss fan, if you're a John 5 fan, I have a feeling this is going to be a good interview. Music we're listening to. What do you got?
I got two. First one is, you know that I'm a big Alice in Chains fan, so I've been listening to Jerry Cantrell, huge Ace Frehley fan, and a lot of Ace licks in his playing. If you listen to it closely, I've been listening to his album Degradation Trip, really good. Psychotic Break, Angel Eyes, She Was My Girl, and Spider Bite are some of my featured songs that I like on that. And you kind of triggered something in me. I've been listening to a lot of Dr. Feelgood, believe it or not.
I am a triggerer.
Yeah, you definitely got me going. Well, you had made a statement last week about Dr. Feelgood, and as you're just calling off the songs, I'm like, damn, there's a lot of good songs on that album. So I listened to it again, and it's been kind of sticking with me. So Dr. Feelgood, Without You, Kickstart My Heart, and I also like Same Old Situation. Doesn't get a lot of love, but I like that song a lot too. And that is my music.
I think I said this last week. I'm pretty sure that Dr. Feelgood is probably their best
Produced, right?
album musically. It's not my favorite, but it's probably their peak.
Yeah, and I listened to it in that kind of way, and it was definitely, if you go and you listen to their first album and Shout at the Devil, and then listen to Dr. Feelgood, you can kind of see it's almost like taking, shining it up and making it polished. It's definitely a lot more polished than most of their stuff.
It's definitely an evolution thing for them.
I agree with you.
My music is, oh my God, Megadeth's new single off their alleged final album. The song is called Tipping Point. And it might be the best Megadeth song to date. The guitars are definitely the star. They made a real effort on the music video also. It's a really good video. If this is it for Megadeth, I have to believe they may be going out at their peak. That's how good the new Megadeth song is. And for you, Father Rocco, who doesn't like Dave Mustaine's vocals, you can just listen to that song for the guitar work because it's nothing short of amazing.
Well, but being honest, I just went on my Spotify when you said that, and I put it on. I heard two notes, and the riff, two notes, the very first, just two little notes, and I'm like, oh man, I can't wait to check that out later.
Yeah. You know what time it is?
Whole time.
It's poll time. Yes, it is. It is poll time. And I'm not sure whether I'm going to do any music or not since I keep getting copyright claims. To hell with it. As long as they're not copyright strikes and they're only claims, let it happen. I'll just do more work. Right. Our weekly polls can be found on our community tab and on our Facebook group. So slide over to our community tab and vote, or slide over to our Facebook group and join our Facebook group. We're growing every day, and we're becoming much more interesting in the Facebook group.
Very true.
The question this week was, who's the best KISS producer? Your choices: Bob Ezrin, Michael James Jackson, or Eddie Kramer. Father Rocco.
Yes.
I left out your little Vinnie Poncia, so I apologize.
Okay.
But what say you?
I'm gonna give it a two-part answer. I'm gonna say Eddie Kramer, but I would have liked to have seen a little bit more of Jackson, because I think he had a lot more that he could offer to the band if he did more.
Okay.
But Eddie Kramer's my pick.
What do you think the Hooligans think?
I would think a lot of them did give Bob Ezrin some love. Correct me if I'm wrong, Eddie Kramer did more producing with KISS than Bob Ezrin. So I would say there's more of a cachet with KISS from Eddie Kramer than Bob Ezrin.
Well, if you count live albums, and if you count the KISS demos, then Eddie Kramer has done a lot more work with KISS than Bob Ezrin. Ezrin did Destroyer, The Elder, and Revenge. Eddie Kramer did the KISS demos. He then did Love Gun, Rock and Roll Over, Alive 1, Alive 2, and Alive 3, I think. I don't really count the
Would think-
Alive, and I don't count the demos, so it's 3-2.
If you just go based on Alive 1 and Alive 2, I would be hard pressed to see, maybe it's close, but I would be hard pressed to see Eddie Kramer losing just for those two alone.
Well, I can tell you right now, it wasn't close at all.
Really?
Bob Ezrin came in third with 22%, which was mind-blowing to me.
Wow,
with
yeah.
all the Destroyer love that is out there. Michael James Jackson came into second with 28%, which I would have liked to seen Michael James Jackson get a little higher because I just think
Yeah,
everything
but he got more
did
love than
with
Bob
Kiss.
Ezrin. That's interesting.
He did. And Eddie Kramer came in with 50%, which is
Yeah.
about,
Yeah, I'd expect that.
which is what I expected. Now, the Ezrin, Michael James Jackson, I don't know, it was a tough question. And I think Pamplemousse made a comment that he was blown away because Eddie Kramer was winning by such a large margin. And I was too. I definitely thought I thought Michael James Jackson was going to come into third and take a beating, and Ezrin and Kramer were going to fight it out. But
You know what that shows, though? It shows some very knowledgeable KISS fans giving Creatures some just due, because Creatures
Yeah.
has to be a big part of that vote.
Creatures, Lick It Up, Killers.
Right.
So thank you to all the hooligans that voted. We had another great turnout.
Thank you, guys.
And we have a poll up right now that is getting a good turnout also. So if you haven't, slide over there and vote. Battleborn is a collaborative effort among like-minded individuals and organizations intent on repairing and restoring people who have served our country. We do this by delivering a unique level of support and guidance to those servicemen and women who have emotional and psychological wounds. We provide support directly and indirectly in collaboration with others in our community who value those who have served this nation and its communities. For more information, go to wearebattleborn.com. Are you ready?
I am ready.
In celebration of the 50-year anniversary of KISS in Cadillac, Michigan, the Hooligan Nation presents KISS Meets Sports, Helmets, Hype, and Legendary Games. This is the collision of what's probably our two favorite things in this entire world.
That's the truth.
You cannot beat this. I wonder what genius came up with this. Oh, yeah. Okay. So not in any sort of order, but we're going to start out by discussing all the times that KISS had anything to do with sports, whether they played at a sporting event or they sung the national anthem, which I'll be the first to tell you, I did not know that both Gene Simmons and Paul Stanley have sung the national anthem. So we're going to share that with all our Hooligan Nation people that might not know that, and then we'll slide seamlessly right into the whole Cadillac, Michigan thing, because it's one of the most fascinating subjects in history to me.
Yeah, no, it's really cool.
It really is on 100 different levels. But let's start first with this. Did you know, Father Rocco, that KISS performed a pregame set before the 2023 Australian Football League Grand Final in Melbourne, Australia?
The only reason I know this is because Paul in another life was a soccer player.
He was.
I'm only kidding.
Okay.
I'm just kidding. No, I didn't know that.
All right. Well, shout out to Dan the Man in Australia. They played, shocking enough, I Was Made for Loving You, Shout It Out Loud, and Rock and Roll All Night. The video, I'm gonna try to do this, guys. I'm not good at this, but I'm gonna try to put links in the description to all of these that are actually on YouTube, and this performance is on YouTube. And this performance, it's a pretty good performance, actually. I love the stuff that KISS does when they're performing at these sporting events. To me, I'm going to be fair, the only artist I ever saw that rises to the level of KISS is Michael Jackson. And that's one of the things that I don't think KISS gets credit for, that they should get credit for, is the spare no. You're going to pay them in some way, but they spare no expense when it comes to their live show. And even when they go to something like this, they do the same thing. They spare no expense. Next we got to talk about something that's not directly about KISS performing, but it is interesting as hell, and I was very much interested in this at the time. And it was Paul Stanley, Gene Simmons, and Doc McGee owning an arena football team. And I imagine that there's some people out there that probably missed this completely, but oh, did you? Well, yeah. They owned an expansion team called the LA KISS in the AFL from 2014 to 2016. They played their home games at the Honda Center, and it was great. There was a lot of pyro, there was dancers, there was rock staging. There is a season. Their first season in existence was actually a reality television show that was on AMC called Fourth and Loud. I watched it. It's 10 episodes. I liked it. It was mostly about the team, and Paul, Gene, and Doc McGee were in it a couple times, but they were not the stars of it. The team was. And it was a really good show. They had compelling player personalities, and they had great uniforms. I mean, I'll put it up here. They had great uniforms. Like, I can remember watching it, and for whatever reason I didn't, but I was going to start buying LA KISS merch because I liked it so much. And what ended up happening is in 2016, the entire league folded. Which is unfortunate, but that's usually what happens in arena football leagues, right, or whatever reason. But I loved the show. I loved the uniforms. I loved the player personalities, and I loved the pure spectacle at games with pyro and plenty of hoopla. It was
it sounds really cool.
It was a good show. Next up, the NHL outdoor game performance in 2014. On January 25th, 2014, KISS played live at Dodger Stadium during the NHL Stadium Series. They performed pregame, and I think after the first period also. It was a game against the Los Angeles Kings and the Ducks. What are they? The Anaheim Ducks?
Anaheim Ducks, yeah.
Anaheim Ducks. They played 3 songs in total: Rock and Roll All Night, I Love It Loud, and Detroit Rock City. Don't get why you play Detroit Rock City when the Ducks and the Kings, but hey, you're KISS, you do what you want to do. And oh my God, one thing is for sure. They were not using backing tracks, because this might be the worst Paul Stanley vocal experience I have ever heard. But the spectacle was just so much bigger than anyone else could or would do. It was a great show. It's just unfortunate. I think Paul was at his worst vocally. I think it was before his vocal surgery, and it was bad.
Yeah,
It
from
was
what I
bad.
heard, it was this definitely the last hurrah that he had left in his voice before the
Oof,
surgery.
oh, oh. And then we move on to national anthems. I have yet to see this. I had limited amount of time, so I didn't go see this, but I'm sure it's on YouTube. Paul Stanley sang the national anthem at Dodger Stadium for a Dodgers versus Red Sox game on August 25th, 2013. And Gene Simmons sang the national anthem at Wembley Stadium before the Vikings versus Steelers on September 29th, 2013. Again, if I can find the links on YouTube, I will put them in the description below. And here's the biggest one to me. I watched this again. I watched it live at the time, and I watched it again this morning, and it blows my mind every time. The KISS played the Olympics in Salt Lake City in 2002, the Winter Olympics closing ceremony. KISS performed Rock and Roll All Night during the televised finale. And have you seen it?
Seen clips of it, but it's been a long time.
Oh my God. So I just watched it again this morning, and it was more amazing than I remember it being. They're on a float on the ice, and the float is moving around the ice, facing different directions of this huge stadium, and they have everything you would see at a KISS concert. They have their pyro, they have the KISS sign, they have that. And the most amazing part of it is both Christy Yamaguchi and Katarina Witt, two Olympic gold winning figure skaters, are skating around the ice at the same time that they're playing. And then both of them come on the stage at the end. It was just amazing. It was. So if you are a KISS fan and you haven't seen that performance yet, you need to jump on YouTube and see that performance, because it's an amazing
I
performance.
got to go back to it. I remember seeing it at different back in the day, but I got to check it out again.
Next up, did you know that KISS was involved with pro wrestling?
Yes, I did, because I was a wrestling fan growing up, so I definitely did.
Well, growing up, you were well into growing up at the time. You were 29 years old, but
WCW.
Chris, Peter, KISS premiered a new WCW wrestler on Monday Night Nitro, August 23rd, 1999. They played God of Thunder on live TV and introduced the KISS licensed wrestler, The Demon. I did not watch this live at the time, but I did review it this morning. And
Interesting.
man, if KISS ever belonged in any sport, it was definitely professional wrestling.
Absolutely.
Too bad it was very short-lived, and I don't know how long the Demon actually wrestled in WCW
No,
for,
that
but
was at
it
the time
wasn't
that
long.
Yeah, and that was at the time also, again, I was a wrestling fan. That was at the time where WCW was kind of like starting to explode, and in a bad way. They were implode.
It was great performance.
Yeah.
And the Demon was a great look. They had the Demon come out in what looked like, I guess it wasn't a casket, but it was something like that, and then it opens up.
Not for nothing. He did the Demon proud. He definitely wore it well.
Oh yeah, it had the makeup and everything, and the hair and the whole thing. I mean, it was
Pretty good wrestler.
I don't know if he was a good wrestler or not.
I don't think he competed for much in that, but I mean, he seemed like he was pretty good.
And finally, did you know, Father Rocco, that KISS performed Rock and Roll All Night pregame before Super Bowl 33 in 1999?
Denver versus Atlanta.
Oh, very good.
I remember the Super Bowl. Yeah,
You
it was a
know-
good Super Bowl too.
You know, back then, when rock music was included at the Super Bowl,
Oh, don't even get me started on that soapbox.
you
man.
remember that?
Yeah, I do remember that. I believe it's been like 16 years since a real Super Bowl.
I believe
Rock
it has
show?
been 16 years, yes. But don't fret. This year's Super Bowl, we get to enjoy Bad Bunny.
Hey, listen, this is to the hooligans. Listen, I know if you have never made comments, please make comments now because it'll help us cope with the thought of having another crappy Super Bowl show. How they've gone that long without having a rock act is ridiculous. So feel free to throw as much comments as you want in there about why they keep on putting crap. And if you like Bad Bunny, my bad. Sorry, but it's how I feel.
If you like Bad Bunny, what the hell are you doing here?
That's a good point. That's a good point.
I'm pretty sure you got the wrong podcast. Hooligans, if we missed any sporting events that KISS played, please drop it in the comments below. And if we got them all, hit that like button and give us a hype so more KISS fans get to see this podcast. And now why we are here. This is one of those moments in KISS 3 that's truly amazing to me. KISS goes to Cadillac, Michigan in 1975.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. You know what? How many documentaries that KISS had have they put that in there? I love it. It's one of my favorite parts of their history.
Well, for any of the hooligans that don't know this story, I will give you a as quick as I can do it, condensed version of it. And what I have heard is during the 1974 season, after the Cadillac, Michigan Vikings started their season out at 0-2, the coaches began blasting KISS to pump up the team. They ripped off 7 straight wins and took a conference co-championship. Assistant coach Jim Neff wrote the band to say thanks. So what does KISS do? And I'm not really going to give KISS that much credit for this. This sounds to me like it's all Bill a coin. But whoever. KISS decides that they are going to show up in Cadillac, Michigan. And dude, they do not show up in Cadillac, Michigan to like say hi and peace out and we're done. They spend, I think, the entire weekend in Cadillac, Michigan for homecoming. Now, you have to imagine being these high school kids in 1975 and KISS ascends upon your little town. The band surprised Cadillac by showing up for all the homecoming festivities. They joined the football team in the homecoming parade. They attended a civic breakfast where they received the key to the city. And for anybody that hasn't heard this yet, it's been talked about, I believe, by all 4 members of the band. But they didn't really know how this was going to be received. And I think the first thing that they went to was this civic breakfast in the morning. And when they walked in, and of course it's 1975, they walked in makeup and in costumes, and everybody that was there was wearing KISS makeup. The mayor, the principal, all the teachers, the kids, the police chief, everybody was wearing KISS makeup. And they received the keys to the city. They ended up playing a private concert, imagine that, in 1975, in the high school gym. Imagine a KISS show in the high school gym. By the way,
Crazy.
I couldn't find any video, but I did find still shots, and it looks pretty interesting. And then, and this is the funniest story. This is the funniest story I think I've ever heard in regards to any artist or band. When they left, a helicopter landed on the field, and all 4 members of the band jumped in the helicopter. And as they were going up and leaving, they were throwing out leaflets that said, had a picture of the band and said, KISS loves you, Cadillac, Michigan. That's really not the point of the story. The point of the story is the helicopter went over the trees and then landed. And it went over the trees and then landed because they couldn't afford the helicopter.
Oh,
So
wow.
they had the helicopter fly in, pick them up, and I don't know how far it went, but it, by all stories, it didn't go very far. And then it landed in a parking lot by the field that was blocked by a bunch of trees, and the band got out of the helicopter that they couldn't afford to pay
Oh my
for
God.
and jumped into a van to go to their next stop on tour. Now, if that isn't an all-time great story about building a band up to be much more than they really were in reality, I don't know what is. And I mean, I don't know this, but I gotta give Bill a coin an incredible amount of credit for coming up with that. Like, at the time, everybody knows this. At the time,
Yeah,
he
nobody.
was footing the bill for just about everything and going into more debt, more debt, more debt, because this is pre-Alive One. As far as I know, it's pre-Alive One. So they weren't making any money.
Yeah,
They
no,
weren't
75
selling
it
any
is. Yeah.
records.
Hey, not for nothing. You deserve a cookie for digging that shit out.
No, no, that's not. That's not.
That whole story with the helicopter, I never heard
That's
that
not
before.
that. I mean, I've heard it. I've heard it, but I don't know, 5 or 6 times. I've heard it out of Paul's mouth. I've heard it out of Gene's mouth.
All right. If you don't want,
I
if you don't want a cookie, it's okay.
I think it was, you don't have cookies. You just got them dry ass pretzels, and I'm not breaking a tooth like you. I just think that's the greatest story. I mean, here you are,
It's cool. Like,
ass broke, and the guy who manages you is like, yes, we are ass broke. Yes, I am $200,000 in debt, but we need to be bigger than life.
the guy had a vision, man.
So we're gonna rent a helicopter to fly 100 yards.
That's
It's got to
hilarious.
cost us less, right? I mean, that's just amazing. And this is something I didn't know till I started to do research on it. And now, like, last weekend was the 50th anniversary, and October 9th to October 12th, Cadillac, Michigan did a huge 50-year anniversary celebration, which I knew about. But boy, if I'd have known all of this, we might have had to make a road trip. And I don't know how far Cadillac is away, but did you know that in 2015, Cadillac did a 40-year anniversary?
No.
I didn't know. I didn't know it either. They did a KISS homecoming celebration in Cadillac, Michigan in 2015. During this celebration, they unveiled the world's only KISS monument. It is 10 feet tall. It is 5,000-pound black granite slab placed by Veterans Memorial Stadium. Mr. Speed, the KISS tribute band, played in the high school gym, and KISS video messaged while they were touring in Australia. The monument dedication included Jim Neff, who's the assistant coach that sent the letter to KISS thanking them, and head coach Milo Brines. It included Kisstory self-guided tours, which are still ongoing, and the tours maintain a multi-stop Kisstory tour around Cadillac's key 1975 locations, and the monument is the anchor. And on October 9th to 12th, 2025, for the 50th anniversary, they had a KISS-themed football game, a drone show. I don't know what a drone show is.
Wow, that's interesting.
A documentary screening. I don't know which documentary. I'm thinking it's maybe the documentary that Doc McGee was talking about, but I don't know this.
Drone show. Have you ever seen? Sometimes it may be this. They have a bunch of drones, and they go up all at the same time, and they do like a different up in the sky. They do different shapes and stuff like that.
Maybe. They had a memorabilia exhibit, guided Kisstory tours, a 5K run, and it says and more. If I'd have known that it was all. I think if I'd have known, I can tell you right now, and yes, I'm stuttering and skipping all over the place because I'm excited. I want to go see that monument.
Let's
I
go.
don't know. I'm sure there's a picture of it somewhere, but I want to go
I
see the monument. But I got to be honest, I didn't research it as much as maybe I should have or could have or would have now, because if I would have researched it, yeah, it might have been a good road trip for that weekend.
You know what? There's so many different retrospective moments that I have about this band that just reaffirm why they're my favorite band. I mean, the Kennedy Center awards that they get that they're got coming up, and just how many rides that they go on that they have gone on uniquely that no other band has ever touched.
I think it's pretty cool because like it makes me wonder how many other things are out there. Like we've said this before. We do not try to sell to you people that we're KISS geniuses. We are not geniuses at anything. We're not KISS experts. We're KISS fans.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes me wonder how many other things are out there that we're going to discover while doing this podcast.
You know what you just did, right?
No, what did I just do?
You just triggered Pamplemousse and Kelly Nodwell and Dan the Man. They're going to get right on that, and I guarantee we'll have something. That's showing you guys some love because you guys always throw stuff out there that we don't know and help us out. So
I mean, look, it's funny. Kelly emails me on an average once a week, and a lot of times she either tells me something that I didn't know, or more importantly, she reminds me of something that I had forgotten.
right.
Like, I'll get an email, hey, have you seen this video? Or, hey, have you heard this story? And a lot of times I answer her like, yes, but I forgot. Or, boy, I heard of this, but I haven't seen it. And the same thing comes from Pamplemousse. Look, we do that. What the hell? Music we're listening to Monday. This Monday, Pamplemousse puts on this band, Sloan. And I'm looking at the comment and I'm like, what the hell is he talking about? I'm like, I never heard of this band.
Me neither.
Well, there's a band out there called Sloan. Pamplemousse loves them. It's Wednesday, and he put it out on Monday. So I think I've listened about 30 seconds of one song. I can't tell you I'm going to go be a big Sloan fan, but I'm mildly entertained and interested in. I guess I'm more mildly entertained and interested in listening to them because our entire relationship is over YouTube. I've never met him. I've never seen him. We've maybe emailed back and forth once or twice. So it's a way to maybe learn the person, I guess, more, if that makes any sense. It's the same thing with Kelly. It's the same kind of thing. Like it's a very weird relationship to me, but they're becoming like family members. And you know what? I can't not put Brad Baird in there, but because you see the same names over and over again in the comments and stuff like, and you start to remember and you start to think of them, or at least in my case,
and how they respond to things, kind of get an idea what their personalities. Again, listen, I'm going to use this opportunity to say we did this because we wanted to build a community of us, of people just like us. with different opinions and different tastes, but loving the same band and everything. And the community thing is so cool. Like, I mean, I still look forward to seeing comments all the time. Even if they correct you and you're like, you know what, that wasn't really a good take on this. This is really what went down. I mean, that's the good stuff.
And I just want to let you know, Father Rocco, no one is the same as you. You are one of a kind.
Well, this goes out to the hooligans.
And we all appreciate it. And with that being said, we're going to shuffle off of this fascinating, amazing episode. I hope that all the hooligans enjoyed this as much as we enjoyed talking about it. Because, you know, the longer that we do this, I'm not going to lie to you and tell you that I'm incredibly excited about every episode we do. Some of them are work. Ace Frehley's second sighting. Vinnie Vincent invasion. Mm-hmm. But some of them are incredibly fascinating and fun. I was supposed to edit this morning, and instead of editing, I lied to myself and said, you know, I need to view all of these clips before we do this episode one more time. And I know that I did it for my own viewing enjoyment, but I told myself that I had to do it for the hooligans out there.
Did you talk to yourself in the third person and go self?
Oh, yeah, all the time. I do that all the time, but, you know.
Hey, also, I'd be remiss if I didn't say one more thing.
What's that?
We do live in the tri-state area. We're pretty close to New York. And how many times have we gone to a sporting event in our area and had to hear New York Groove?
Hey, you want to hear something funny? It's funny that you brought that up. Hooligans, one more thing, and then we'll let you all go, and we'll go also. Last night, today is Wednesday, October 8th, if you don't know. And if you don't know, we tape about 10 days ahead because, well, you know, our editor, he's slow. So last night, Father Rocco came over and we watched the Yankee playoff game. And Father Rocco, being the goofington that he is, it was like 10:30 at night. It was maybe the seventh inning of the game. The Yankees had been down 6-0 and 6-1, and they had come back, and I believe they were up 8-6, 7-6 at the time. I think they were up 7-6 at the time, and he looks over at me. He looks over at me and he goes, "I want to go." And I go, "We'll go." And he goes, "I can't go. It's what did you say? It's
baseball any baseball fans that are hooligans, you know why I said that, right?
It's baseball superstition. If I leave right now and they lose, it'll be my fault." So I don't say anything to him. It's in the middle of an inning. Like, I'm watching the game and I'm just thinking to myself, honestly, I'm thinking to myself, how the hell can I use this as a joke when we film tomorrow? And then he looks over at me, and this is not why I'm doing that, by the way.
Okay.
And then he looks over at me and he goes, "But if you happen to tell me that it's okay and that I'm not going to affect this game, then it should be okay for me to leave." And I look at him and I tell him somebody should have been recording this because to me, it's comedy gold. I look at him and I tell him, "Okay, you can leave. I'm sure you leaving is not going to affect the game in any way." And he leaves, and he literally walks out the door. I close and lock the door, and I walk back in, and they're coming back to the Yankee game, and New York Groove is playing. And I just started laughing. And I thought for sure, I'm like, that's a sign. I got goofy like you and was like, that's a sign. The Blue Jays are going to score like 10 runs this inning. and it's going to be all his fault, and I'm going to be able to use it as material. It didn't happen. They ended up winning, I think, 9-6. But
Yeah, and
I
the
just
moral,
thought that was funny.
again, to reiterate what he just said, if you didn't catch the last part of that, regardless of me being a crazy maniac talking like that, on my way home, if they give up the lead and they're losing the game, the first call I get is from him saying, "You should have never left. You screwed up."
Oh yeah, absolutely.
He would have been all over me.
Oh,
And then he
100%.
would have told my sister, she'd be all over me. Then he would have told everybody else I know, and they'd be all over me.
100%. Would have posted it on Facebook. It still to this day amazes me how much KISS is involved in sporting events over and over again, whether it's rock and roll all night, but I think it's New York Groove. At least in this area, it's New York Groove more than anything else. I mean, I go to a Devils game, they play New York Groove. Yankees game, New York Groove. Giants game, Jets games, New York Groove.
Dentist office.
Well,
I'll get my teeth fixed and I hear it.
when I get, well, that's because you keep breaking them because you keep eating them dry ass hard pretzel nuggets.
Hooligan, did you see how I set him up for that? You see, I just kind of lifted it up and he slammed it home.
Yeah, but then he'll get a sore ass because I'm making fun of him, right? But you give me the material.
Wait.
And you wonder why.
Are you trying to say I'm sensitive?
You are a little sensitive.
Well, I do have feelings. This episode is another example of the amount of reach that KISS has in mainstream through the years.
Much more of a reach than they get credit for.
Absolutely.
The only other thing I'll say is Hooligans. If any of these things that we listed you haven't seen, check them out. They are all at least mildly entertaining, and some of them are really good. So sometimes Paul singing isn't the best, but I maybe I'm goofy, but just what they do on the road at one kind of event is pretty amazing to me. The extras that they bring to it is always pretty amazing to me. And again, the LA Kiss, Fourth and Loud, it's 10 episodes. I don't remember whether they're half hour or 1 hour episodes. If I can tell you this right now, if you're a football fan, it's a pretty good watch. And I think even if you're not a football fan, if you're a KISS fan, it's a pretty good watch. It was just interesting to me. So that's all we got. On behalf of the Father Rocco and I, thank you all for watching us one last time. Please hit the like button. Please give us some comments. And please hit that new thing that everybody's talking about, the hype button. Real quick, not going to do the salesman thing, just to let you guys know what the hype button is for small YouTube channels. And supposedly, if you get a certain amount of hypes, they kick your video out into the algorithm to more people. So we're trying to get this out to as many KISS fans as we can so they can find us and we can find them. So if you could do us a favor, it's free. It doesn't cost you anything. You can give up to 3 hypes a week. If you're listening to us on any of the podcast platforms, please leave us a review. And if you just found us, check out our past episodes. If you're watching us on our YouTube channel and you like this episode, please consider hitting the like button, just like that guy right there that's wearing a KISS Hooligan Nation hoodie that you can find at hooligannation.com, by the way, and leaving us a comment. Hit that subscribe button, just like that guy right there, so you don't miss any future episodes. And check out these episodes right here. As always, if you made it this far, thank you for supporting us. And don't forget, we should all lead with love and take care of each other. Peace out, Hooligan Nation.